Hello, my lovely listeners. I'm Dr. Mary Barson.
And I'm Dr. Lucy Burns. Welcome to this episode of Real Health and Weight Loss.
Hello, lovely listeners. This is Dr. Mary from Real Life Medicine here, joined as ever by the fabulous Dr. Lucy. How are you, Dr. Lucy?
I am calm and restful this week.
That's very topical to today's topic.
I know. Well, it was funny meditation is a practice that I struggle a little bit with consistency. And after last week's episode where I said, right, I'm running off, not running because that's not very mindful, but, and so I did a little commitment to myself that I would practice it more regularly, and I've managed to do it every day this week. So, yeah, I feel really, really good.
That's amazing. Every day this week is a fantastic result to a new commitment. Good job.
Well, do you know, the key was actually just to make sure that I didn't put too much pressure on myself by saying I'm going to do it for, half an hour or something. I actually just committed to 5 minutes a day. So some days were 5 and some days were 10, and I had one day of a 15.
Yeah, that's good. I don't meditate for an hour a day. Sometimes I kind of would like to, and I know people who do, but I usually manage 5 minutes. Sometimes it's in my lunch break, sometimes it's in the car park, and I do meditation in bed as well before I fall asleep for a few minutes, which helps as well. That's enormously beneficial to my life. That seems to be enough for me to mostly keep the harmful effects of stress at bay.
Absolutely. What I find is, in order to develop some sort of consistency, I do have to tether it to something because it's really fascinating. My brain, when I go, oh, maybe I should go and meditate, my brain goes, no, you're too busy. Don't do that. You've got way, way more important things to be doing.
But yes, when you tether a new habit that you want to develop, and you tether it to a time and a place, we are much more likely to do it. If you schedule it and tether it to something else, and also sort of in your mind and in your schedule put where you're going to do it, where and when, we are far more likely to stick to it. But why? Why are we talking about meditation right now, Lucy? What is today's topic all about?
So today's topic is really, I guess, part of our complicated basics, which we discussed last week about stress and the physiological responses, and part of, how can you improve your body's response to stress. And we talked a little bit about how for a lot of us, our stress is actually when we ruminate in the past, or we ruminate, or we worry about the future, particularly about things that actually are outside of our control, either both in the past or in the future. And that for a lot of us, we don't spend that much time living in the present where there is no acute danger. Because remembering from last week, our brain doesn't know the difference between danger that's imagined in our head or thought about in our head, or threats that are thought about in our head, versus the actual immediate threat of a bear standing in front of us. It doesn't know the difference.
Yep. And when that, as we discussed last week, it's the chronic activation of our stress pathway that is so damaging to our health. And something we can all do to really improve our resilience to the unavoidable stressors of life is active relaxation or meditation or mindfulness. I kind of put all three together.
Absolutely. And I think it's really important just to clarify the idea that relaxation, again, this is where these funny terms that come into our vernacular are different when we're talking about a medical relaxation. So relaxation is not sitting in front of the telly watching Netflix or something, which I very much like to do.
It has value.
But that's not medical relaxation.
No, I like the term active relaxation. So you've got, relaxation, just, go have a bath, lie on the couch and watch Netflix. That's not a bad thing to do. Go read a book. They're all good things to do. They definitely are. Rest is helpful. But what we are talking about is far deeper than that. It's active relaxation, where we actively stimulate the relaxation pathway in our autonomic nervous system. And this is how we counteract the damaging effects of stress.
Exactly. So stress we talked about is the fight and flight. It's the activation of something called our sympathetic nervous system, which is part of our autonomic. So again, autonomic is sort of outside your control, like as in voluntary control. And then the balance, the counter to that, is the parasympathetic nervous system, often called the rest and digest pathway. And we don't spend much time talking about that in general. And it's so super important to activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So, Mez, how do we do that?
Yeah, so a really simple and profound way to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest pathway, is through meditation or mindfulness or mindful meditation. There are a few ways to do it. And many of you would have already experienced this, I'm sure, even if you're not, if you had a yoga class and at the end of the yoga class, you do a meditation and you feel that lovely sense of well-being, of relaxation. That's your relaxation response. For any of you who've done meditation and you get this lovely sense of calm that flows through you, that is your relaxation response. And you can learn to activate your relaxation response, which is, activate your parasympathetic nervous system through meditation. It might not sound like a likely subject of scientific investigation, but the effects of meditation have been thoroughly documented in scientific literature, and it really makes an enormous difference. So how you do it? Well, practically, there's a few ways to do it, and you can usually sit down, find a comfortable position, and focus on your breathing is a good way to do it, to just gently focus and refocus on your breathing. And what will happen when you sit down to do this, because our brains are thinking machines, and because, we might be stuck in ruminating about the past and stressing about the future mode, is that you sit down to concentrate on your breathing, but then your mind starts flying off to that embarrassing thing that happened in high school or to that merging deadline you've got at work. And that's normal and natural. You just need to gently notice that and then bring your mind back to your breathing. And then your mind will fly off again in some odd direction. You notice it gently and kindly, and you bring it back again. And you just do this little dance with your body. Another way that people can visualize that is to sit down to focus on their breathing. And whenever a thought pops into their head, just say the words release and just let the thought go. And then another thought will pop into your head and you just release it and let it go. And then another thought will pop in and you release it and let it go. And you just do this little dance with your body. And two things are really happening here. You're training your mind to come back to the present. So every time a little thought pops into your head about the future, the past, or whatever, and you bring it back to what's happening right now, i.e. your breathing, you're like strengthening those little mental muscles that can bring you back into the present. And you will be activating your relaxation pathway. And the thing with meditation is people can find that they can relax a little bit. Like you might relax like 1 out of 10 and still actually find that you're still quite agitated during your relaxation practice, or you could get deeply relaxed. You could relax all the way to 10 out of 10 and experience the full gamut of the relaxation response, which I'll go through the physiology of that in a minute. But even just that 1 out of 10, even when you kind of think, this is useless, I didn't achieve very much, you actually do. Any activation of your parasympathetic nervous system is good because it will all work towards countering the damaging effects of chronically activating the sympathetic or the stress pathway. And so you can't stuff it up. That's an important thing that I always tell people. People come to me, I can't meditate, I can't do it. I'm like, actually, you can't do it wrong. Like whatever meditation practice you get is the meditation practice that you get, and it is all good.
Absolutely. And I think a lot of people, the expectation is that you're going to be sitting cross-legged with your hands, positioned on your knees and be in this state of bliss after the first one. But it doesn't work like that because, again, as you discussed, Mez, the brain is a thinking machine. It wants to think about stuff. So it has often at the start, it'll go, right, I don't want to do this. I'm too busy thinking. I don't want to be focused. It has a little tantrum. And if you anticipate that, then I think that leads a long way to the ongoing practice because you know what's going to happen. And the training, if you like, is the bringing it back. So in fact, the more active your brain is, the better your training is, because you've had dozens of opportunities during that 5 minutes to keep bringing it back to the breathing.
Absolutely. It's that little mental dance that you do that where most of the benefit lies. But, that's just one way. And I like to talk about mindful breathing because it's accessible to everybody. And, we'll come back to, why the breath is such a good thing to focus on later. But it's not the only way. That really, really useful tools are guided meditations. Lucy and I, you and I, we're trained in medical hypnosis. We do long hypnosis sessions with our clients. We do pre-recorded meditations and hypnoses that we give out. And listening to a guided meditation can be a really accessible way to guide you into that relaxation response, because it gives your mind something to focus on, and it is for a lot of people easier to avoid the rumination and the worrying when you can bring your mind back to an audio recording.
Absolutely.
And also physical relaxation is a fantastic way to induce mental relaxation. So progressive muscular relaxation is a practice where you just you sequentially relax all the main muscle groups of your body. You relax the muscles of your feet, let them be loose, feel the relaxation all through your feet, and then work your way up through your legs, all the way through your abdomen, your hands. And that is a powerful way to induce a relaxation response as well. And we'll all have our own little preferences, Some people will like some things and other people won't.
Oh, absolutely. And it's really interesting when you do draw your attention to different parts of your body, you will realise that you are holding tension that you weren't aware of. So for some people, that tension is held in their jaw, and they spend their time with clenched teeth. And this causes all sorts of problems with dental pain and jaw pain.
Headaches.
Yeah, headaches. It's only when you actually focus on it, you go, oh, I am holding my teeth clenched. I hadn't even realised. We will do it with our shoulders, where we hold our shoulders tightly. And interestingly enough, for lots of women, pelvic pain is caused by the clenching of your pelvic floor muscles, which just goes on and we're unaware of it. So spending that time actively relaxing parts of your body is super. It's a wonderful technique.
Mm. The thing about relaxation responses is that we can all do it. We can all do it. Obviously, there are times when we're currently in acute situations of stress, like when we're being chased by a bear, or when we're really, really, really hypervigilant and stressed for some reason, it's probably not the best time to start a meditation practice, but we can all do it. In my hypnotherapy practice as a GP, I will get people who've never done meditation before, actually might be quite skeptical, or they've tried meditation twice and they couldn't sort of transport themselves into a Dalai Lama-like blissful nirvana, so they assumed that they're useless at it and they never tried again. All of these common stories I hear, but when I get them to lie down and when we do the progressive muscle relaxation and we do all the hypnotic induction, they all relax. And usually when you've got someone skilled guiding you, you actually relax very, very deeply is nearly always what happens. And they experience a very deep, very profound relaxation response. And a lot of you have probably gone out and got a massage at some point in time and you feel really nice and relaxed during the massage. That is your relaxation response being activated, most likely through the muscular relaxation and the masseuse working out all that muscular tension that you probably didn't even know you were holding, and sort of touch and all of these other things that can induce a lovely relaxation response. So most of us actually do know what this feels like. So physiologically, what is going on in this relaxation response? Basically, it's kind of the opposite of everything we talked about last week with the acute stress response. So the acute stress response is our fight or flight pathway of our autonomic nervous system, and the relaxation response is our rest and digest part of our autonomic nervous system. We're actually designed to be in rest and digest most of the time, and then to have our lives punctuated with short, sharp periods of stress, which is okay when they happen. We survive and navigate those, but then we're supposed to go back into rest and digest. And it's when we don't do that that our health is so adversely affected.
Closing the loop.
That's right. That's right. So when we're in this relaxation response, our blood pressure is lowered, all the harmful effects of stress are sort of reversed. So our cortisol levels go down and we've got normal blood sugar metabolism can return. Our heart rate goes down, our oxygen levels go down, our emotional brain becomes much less hypervigilant and calmer. Our emotional brain and our thinking brain, to use super simplistic terms, become better integrated and start to communicate with each other much better. We like to call that our parent brain. Sort of the frontal cortex starts to become more in control and in charge, so we can make better decisions. The digestion part of the rest and digest, so we get significant improvements in our digestion. It increases the vagal tone, so our brain starts to increase its output through the vagus nerve that sends nerve signals and innervates the gut, which then allows the gut to function properly and send signals to our gut microbiome, amazingly, who then also sends signals back to our brain. And so the gut-brain axis starts to function normally. All of these beautiful things are going on when we're in our rest and digest mode. And the amazing thing about doing a few moments of meditation each day is that the beneficial effects of inducing a relaxation response actually stay with you for most of the day. So it's a very, very powerful intervention that heals your physiology and normalizes your physiology and allows your body to be in balance and function well, basically at the level of every organ system, with the investment of really a few minutes a day, 10 minutes. That is really all that it takes.
I know. It's interesting. It's so simple, but it's not easy. And I think this is where people can get a little dejected. Meditation has that pleiotropic effect of both inducing the rest and digest, so, balancing your parasympathetic system, as well as training your brain to be in the here and now. I use a lovely analogy, and it's like training a new puppy. So you've got a new puppy and, that's your brain. And so your new puppy, you're trying to teach it to walk with you. And so it wants to run off and sniff every bush it can. It's so excited. It sees a person, it barks. It sees a bush, it runs over to it. We've all done it. And what happens is that every time the puppy runs over to a bush, you just keep bringing it back. And then you walk a bit more and it'll run off to another bush and you just keep bringing it back. And so what happens is, though, we just keep going with this little dog and we keep training it. And every day we take it for a walk, and over time it becomes better and better at walking with you and not running off and sniffing all the bushes. But what a lot of people want is for there to be no bushes in the first place. And they think that's the only way they'll be able to manage their stress or to be in the here and now if there's no distractions. If there's no other bushes, then I'll be fine. Well, that's not how it works. What we want to do is be able to navigate our way through all the bushes with our little dog, i.e. with our busy brain in our busy world, and be able to train it so that you can be present and, interestingly, focused in the here and now.
Yes, it is really doable, and especially if you just take it from the point of view that any meditation is good meditation. It gets easier with time. And even if you sit down for 3 minutes and you feel like your brain was all over the place, I guarantee it's still beneficial. So consistency is key here. If you get into a regular pattern of it, it is so beneficial. If you get into a regular pattern of active relaxation, everything changes for the better.
Absolutely. And you know what, Maz? Clearly we know the benefit of meditation, relaxation, and we have put together a program, which is a 30-day. It's like a little smorgasbord of all the different types of meditation or hypnosis that are available for your body to experience real health and weight loss. So we'll link this in the show notes if people want to have a look at it. We do it every day for 30 days. That's good to establish a practice. And then you can just go back and keep listening to it every day. Or choose the ones that you like and listen to them on repeat. It is a beautifully restorative, wonderful way to improve your health and weight loss.
I'm a seasoned meditator and I still can struggle with consistency at times. But even as a seasoned meditator, I really like listening to recordings, to guided recordings. I just find it useful. It's just a really useful and accessible way. So yes, I do love our 30-day program and I still listen to those hypnoses quite frequently.
Wonderful. Wonderful. All right, lovely listeners. Hopefully that's explained again the benefits, the enormous benefits to this process, this meditation or relaxation process, which is accessible, free, doesn't involve medications, isn't going to cause any side effects, won't interact with anything else you're doing. So many benefits and portable because let's be honest, you take your brain wherever you go.
That's right. And you breathe wherever you go. So it's totally doable anywhere.
Absolutely. All right, lovelies. We'll talk to you all later. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
So, my lovely listeners, that ends this episode of Real Health and Weight Loss. I'm Dr. Lucy Burns.
And I'm Dr. Mary Barson. We're from Real Life Medicine. To contact us, please visit rlmedicine.com.
And until next time, thanks for listening.